Welcome everyone, this is Silver casting another game from the North American ladder, and this is a TVP with representing the Protoss. We do have Tigerlily. I believe a Tigerlily is a type of flower, although I could be mistaken. And representing the Terran we have Arkire. So once again, this is a Terran versus Protoss, and the map is Star Station. I don't believe I've casted a game on this map, so I'd like to talk about the layout in just a bit. As you can see, this is a huge map. There's a lot of distance between each base, and it's a 4-spawn map, so the scouting is going to have to be good and early if you're going to want to get your scout over there. If you're a Protoss, actually, to get inside the base before he does wall off, because if you send a scout off at 13 and it goes the wrong way around, by the time it gets to the opponent's base, there will be a wall there, so you will not get any information. And also, there is tons of area, of airspace area around each base, so the potential for harassment from the air is high, be using drops or whatever. I guess it would be drops or banshees or phoenixes for harass or oracles in this matchup. And also the middle of the map, and unlike most maps, the middle of the map is quite important to hold on to and to maintain, but as you can see, there is not actually a lot of strategic value to the middle of the map. If this is a cross spawn, yeah, this is going to be important in order to get to your opponent's base faster. However, even if you do control the center of the map, there is still two more attack pathways to the other side. So we do have a Tigerlily scout going around now, and he did send it at 13, and even though he sent it the right way, it's not going to get in because of this wall off. So looks like Tigerlily is not going to have any early information going on here. And you can see Arky he's dropped a really fast barracks. That was a barracks at 10, I believe, considering his supply is only 14 right now. So I'm wondering what he's going to do at this point. And as you can see, both players are hovering a lot of minerals, so there will probably be an expansion down. Actually, Tigerlily decides to throw down a Cybernetics core instead. But we probably will be seeing early expansion from at least one of these players. I'm not sure. He is still floating a lot of money, so I am really thinking there's going to be expansion coming out right about now. However, this SCV does manage to get inside the base, and it is doing some quite good scouting, as you can see. Yeah, he saw everything that's going on. He didn't see the gases, however, so he might still be thinking there's expansion. However, I'm not sure. As I forgot to mention, these are both in gold. Both players are in gold league, so won't be seeing the best play. But I'm excited to see what happens in this game, as Arky's first Marine is going to be taking out Tigerlily's scout, which actually didn't do any good scouting. As you can see, he basically saw the barracks, and that's it. So with the Marine positioned out in the front like this, I'm going to assume there's going to be an expansion, and actually there is one right now by Arkire, so kind of want to say Arky, but it's not how it's spelled. Pretty bad with pronunciation. And however, there is not an expansion out for the Protoss yet, although he does have 700 minerals, so we should be seeing one really soon. Actually, yep, right there, there's the expansion, and he actually still has a lot of money left over, so we'll see what he decides to do with that money. And at Arkire's base, we do have a bunker going down. This is pretty good placement because the bunker can cover the high ground. However, it can't cover the entrance to his natural. He might just be building this in advance and then salvaging it later once his natural is in place. As you can see, it is on its way. It has 30 seconds left. And there's an engineering bank going down. Now, on the Protoss side, where there was a mothership core and built in the process, we'll see if he decides to do any aggression with it or just use it for defense. So both of the players are going for an economic opener. As you can see, Arkire is actually supply blocked at this time. We'll be freeing that up quite soon, and his expansion is done. So he's getting the orbital command right away. That's pretty smart. To get double orbital commands, it will put you ahead again of your opponent in the econ, unless your opponent is a Zerg and they throw down 3 bases. So we do have Tigerlily's first check choice as a Stargate. So I'm interested to see if we're going to have any, if we're going to have an Oracle in play here, or is it going to be some sort of mix of Phoenix or Void Rays. However, Arkire is responding preemptively with these missile turrets. However, he only does one. I believe the placement of this indicates that this missile turret was only built to stop DTs, to stop Dark Templars, because it is covering the ramp. So a missile turret up here won't really do you much good if you have an Oracle around your mineral line. And as the Stargate is finishing it, I wonder what Tigerlily is going to be building with this. We will see, as he decides to build nothing right now. And he's dropping a Twilight Council in its stead. And more Zealots are being warped in. And there goes the scan by Arkire. That's pretty good timing, because if there was going to be an Oracle built, he could prepare for it in advance with some missile turrets. However, both players don't decide to follow my advice. They rarely do. And so he's not going to be, neither of them are going to be doing anything. So I'm kind of wondering why Tigerlily built this Stargate, considering he's not being produced, and right now he's just working on warp gates. However, the Twilight Council was done, so we might see some Dark Templars. He's going with a Void Ray. So we might see some, I don't know what we're going to see out of that Twilight Council, maybe just the upgrades. However, it looks like Arkire is actually trying to press an attack here with a couple Marines. And there is 2 Stalkers, 3 Zealots, and a Mothership Porter here to defend this. I'm not sure if Arkire could actually do anything, considering he only has a handful of Marines and 1 Mardar. If you look at the the supply tab, they are even, and also in the army supply, Archive's down, and you never want to be down in army supply versus Protoss because their units are most expensive. Actually, if you look at the active forces, Tigerlily is vastly ahead as far as that goes, as his first Void Ray is complete and he is pursuing 1 more. Now, Void Ray is an interesting choice in a versus a Terran, because Void Rays don't really do that much versus Marines, considering they attack. Marines attack so fast, and the Void Ray doesn't really attack that fast. It doesn't do a lot of damage. It will be doing 12 damage a second to Marines, so it takes 3 seconds to kill a Marine, which would mean in that time the Marine will have its buddies backing him up, and the Void Rays will die. However, Void Rays versus a mech player would be quite well. And as you can see, Arky in responding to the Stargate scan by finally building some missile turrets. He's actually building quite a lot. He has 6 right now, so I'm wondering if that's a little bit of overkill. However, Tigerlily is deciding to move out with his forces and claim the watchtower in the middle of the map. And he has 2 Void Rays with his army, a couple Zealots, and 2 Stalkers still. And of course, the Mothership Core. Now I'm wondering if he's actually going to press the attack or just gaining vision here. As you can see, he's actually placing a forward plan right now and sending in more forces. And currently, he is dropping his first forge, so we don't have any upgrades right now going underway for him. And there's actually no upgrades underway for Arkire either, so we will see. However, he has been producing Widow Mines. Ooh, if that Widow Mine activated, that could have been doing a lot of splash damage to his own team. He has been producing some Widow Mines, so these will be helpful in the defense. However, I'm not sure why he's moving his forces out this way. He does scan this army, and we'll see if he decides to attack. And he has actually responded to the Void Raid on the field by building some Vikings, which is a good idea. But unfortunately, he's going to have to micro these Vikings in order to take out these Void Raids, because Void Raids do additional damage with armor. However, with 2 Zealots on the move command, they will be sacrificing themselves to kill these Widow Mines. And Tigerlily is building a robo facility, probably for the Observer, to detect these Widow Mines, because right now he doesn't have anything, so he can't really attack, considering there is more Widow Mines at Arkire's base. And I do like this wall-in of the bunker. That is going to prevent any Zealots from getting in there and attacking. So it's a quite interesting placement of these mines in the front of its base. It's probably going to provide some decent defense here. And I'm just wondering where the econ is up right now. As you can see, the Protoss player has pulled ahead, as he does have 10 more workers. However, once Arkire decides to drop this mule, it will probably keep him up in that. So both players are around even in that, and they're pretty much even at this point in the game. The fleet of Vikings for Arkire is picking up, and on the Protoss, and also Arkire is throwing down his next expansion, working in some Hellions and another factory, so we might be seeing more mech play out of the Protoss player, as he does have a tank being built. and the armory, so I'm wondering if he's going to be going more heavily into mech. However, he doesn't have any upgrades right now, so he should probably start working on upgrades very soon. We'll see if he decides to go with the vehicle or the ground upgrades, as his opponent's +1 attack is finishing now, and he has dropped his third as well. So far, nothing too much has happened. However, this observer is here to spot these winnow mines, so they will be taken out. We'll see if actually Arkire decides to attack with his zealots, which do have charge finished. So that's what he got from the Twilight Council. So he did decide to take some splash damage on that and lose the zealot. Scan goes down, will give Arkire the advance warning. However, his Viking fleet is pretty substantial, and there isn't actually a lot of ground-to-air attack right now, so these Vikings are going to be able to go to town on these Void Rays. However, Void Rays do start firing, and one Viking goes down. However, one Void Ray has to go down as well. Another Viking joins the fight, and the Zealots are here to charge the front door. There's a lot of defense here, and so when mine Zealots are not able to get a good surround as they are being picked off on the front. The Vikings have pulled back in defense of his army. A Time Warp does go down, however, most of the Marines are still alive, and there's a couple bunkers left. As the Vikings are continuing to pick off the Void Rays from the back, it looks like this attack will be a fail, as Arkire is losing the majority of his forces. However, Tigerlily has, they both have lost the majority of his forces. Tigerlily has lost all of his army. However, Arkire has also lost the majority of his army as well. And the siege tank getting 2 kills in the back, looking all badass. Just looking at the resources lost, that is actually going to heavily favor Arkire, considering he was able to hold on to some of his forces. As he does warp in more zealots, there's only one Phoenix that can attack air here, so these Vikings can really just sit here. But Tigerlily decides to pull his zealots back, considering can't really do anything versus air, and I'm wondering if he's worried about an incoming attack from his opponent. As you look at the units, Arkire has transitioned more heavily into mech. He now has a lot of tanks on the field and Vikings, and now Hellbats, which are going to be great versus those zealots. However, there is a minor attack going on right here. It is just one stalker chasing down these Vikings. Let's see if he manages to get one. He actually does get one of them, so that is a small victory, but a victory indeed, and decides to pull back with the stalker. So it looks like Arkire is actually going to be pressing the attack here with these tanks and Vikings and a handful of Marines, and still no upgrades underway, while Tigerlily is now throwing down a fleet beacon and a robotics bay and building immortals. Those immortals are going to be very effective versus these tanks. However, he does know the attack is coming, considering his forward pylon was just picked off. However, we will see if he can get any units out in time, because he actually is also building a Templar archives, so he's deciding to tech into a lot of different things at once. And considering he doesn't have a lot of money, right now, but he has a ton of gas, he can actually start warping in a lot of High Templars for the Archons right away. His third base is up and running, while his opponent's is not, so I believe he is up in the Econ tab a little bit. However, if this attack hits now, actually, it has I'm not sure why he's deciding to go all this way around, but I believe he might just be going for the third base first. However, Tigerlily's army is positioned right here, and now with an immortal in the mix, that might be enough to hold this. We will see, because he is looking at a lot of tanks, a lot of Vikings, and a couple of Hellbots and Marines. So we'll see what happens, as his army supply is slightly down from his opponent by 20. So we'll see if it's enough, as he is now actually chronoing out a Tempest. That Tempest will be great in the defense here if he can manage to hold on to it from these Vikings. As the tanks are moving into siege position, nope, they decide to not siege and just engage the turret directly, but here goes the siege. As the attack commences, the Zealots are coming in from the side. These Warped-in Zealots are going to get destroyed by these tanks. The Hellbats in the front are going to be proved quite bloody. However, he does move the Zealots behind the Marines and is going straight for the tanks. These tanks fall. He's not going to actually have a lot on the ground to defend this. The Immortal is going to be doing substantial damage to these Hellbats, as the ground forces are forced to retreat for Tigerlily, as these tanks are too much to handle. However, I believe the Tempest on the field will be doing a lot for Tigerlily if he can manage to do something with it. Actually, no, the Tempest was killed, so he is kind of stuck facing the siege right now, considering he has nothing to break it. This could be it, considering Tigerlily is vastly behind in the army supply. We'll see if he can manage to hold on here, as he does warp in another round of Zealots, and a Colossus has joined the fray. However, this Colossus is not going to survive long against these Vikings, so we will see. Actually, the Vikings are moving into an attack. They do get one volley off on the Colossus. Colossus decides to retreat. However, Tigerlily is going to be losing all of his ground forces yet again, thanks to the siege tank line, which are now split. However, 2 tanks do go down, so he's only looking at 2 tanks currently. However, this Colossus is out of position and will be picked off. The Tempest most likely as well, as it is pretty weak versus these Vikings. However, Stalker Warpin does manage to hold off these Vikings. However, running into tanks causes Tigerlily to lose one of his Stalkers. So if you look at the units lost tab, it is still favoring Arkire. We'll see if he can manage to finish the deal here, as he is vastly ahead of his opponent. However, he does decide to pull back with the majority of his forces, leaving 1 tank here, which is actually going to suit up and roll out. So those tanks were proved quite effective in that engagement. As you can see, this one tank has 10 kills and the other one has 5. So those tanks were definitely a good call. However, with the Tempest on the field and growing in number, these tanks are going to be able to be picked off from afar, as Tigerlily's army is looking very multi-teched, as he warps in on 5 Templars. Now, his storm is done, and he doesn't have enough mana energy on these Templars yet. He needs that energy now if he's going to be fending off this attack. However, he might have enough here with the Colossus and the Tempest here to defend against this. However, in the army supply, it is still favoring Arkire, so he's going to try his best to hold on here, as the opponent's Vikings are actually not with his army, so these Tempests could really go to town on these exposed units and see if he can do it. And Tigerlily is building Void Rays, and he has +2 ground underway, as well as more Colossus, so he's really kind of sticking with the higher tech units and not a lot of gateway units at this point. Although the High Templars in the mix, which has actually jumped up to 7 or 8, is going to prove quite effective if he can get those storms down. However, we will see as Arkire is moving his forces out into the center of the map. And let's see, they're actually... Yeah, I believe he's going to attack the 3rd from around. This pro power is going to spot this. What a brave pro, sacrificing his life for that scouting information, which is going to be proved quite effective, as Tigerlily's forces are now positioned around his 3rd. There is an attack going on of, I believe it was, nope, it was actually a pylon being placed, which was instantly killed, or cancelled, no, killed by this planetary fortress, so that is pretty interesting, as you don't really see planetary fortresses killing pylons that much. As Arkire moves his forces down to this bottom right center of the map to possibly attack, the scans go down to locate his army. So he does know his army is in position. We'll see if he has enough to attack here, and if he actually decides to attack, because that scan does reveal that there's actually a lot of forces for his opponent. However, Arkire has in the midst of all this taken a 4th base, so he will be leading on his opponent in economy. However, there's no mining going on down there right now, which he kind of needs to start happening. As Tigerlily is warping in more High Templars. However, decides to make 1 Archon with this, as Arkire has moved some Widow Mines into forward positions right here to maybe get a couple good kills and splash damage, because if these went off on the High Templars, that would be over. However, the siege tanks are in position and have sieged up. There is a minor split. However, the Protoss army does decide to press the attack. I'm not sure if this is the right idea. The Templars are doing damage from behind. The Stalkers reach the front. The High Templars need to throw the storms down. As one storm goes down, the tanks are taking damage. Another storm goes down on the entirety of the Vikings. However, he does have a lot of energy left, and these Templars are dying before they can actually blow it off, as they all go down. Now there's a lot of Vikings here, and they probably will be able to complete up the rest of this army, which now just composed of this Tempest and Colossus. As the Colossus goes down, the Tempests are being one-shot by these Vikings pretty much, as the second Tempest falls as well. And there you have it. That was a GG by Tigerlily as he decides to leave the game. So yeah, that was pretty standard Terran vs Protoss, as now Arkire has lost the game. Very standard Terran vs Protoss. Kind of got into the late game stage. However, the early attack by Tigerlily did put him behind. But I feel like in that last engagement, he might have been able to win with all those High Templars, because actually, if we scroll back just a bit, we'll see he actually has a ton of Templars. So at this moment, right before the attack commences, he has 8 High Templars, and all of them have enough energy for at least 1 storm. Some of them have energy for 2 storms, actually. So he has a total of around 10 to 12 storms. And if you look as the battle commences, he only uses like 3 of them. Yeah, so he has 11 Templars right now, with enough storms for around 10 or so. So we'll see if this actually, if you can actually, let's see how many he uses. So the attack commences. We have the everything Viking. The Vikings go down. We have 1 storm goes down, another storm goes down, and yeah, 3 storms. So 3 storms out of a possible 10. Now, another storm on these Vikings would have killed them, another storm on these tanks would have killed them, and then the Tempest could have cleaned up the rest. However, that is some poor micro, and he does lose those High Templars before he manages to get the storms off. So, there you have it. That was probably the reason for the loss there, as we do have a nice pause of the missiles in mid-air, but right before they blow up this Tempest. And once again, my name is Silver. Thank you for watching this replay. This was a gold level match on the North American ladders. And if you like what you see, please subscribe and send your replays to thesilvercaster032@gmail.com. And go out there and get your game on.